All right, so we are live now on YouTube and Alpha Geek Radio. I hope we are. So what we're gonna do is record 4 episodes of Weird World Weekly, and you guys are just gonna see or hear us do the stories, nothing else. But if you want to know more about the show, what you do is you go to GNcasts. That's GNCASTS.com/weird, and you'll get all of our weirdness. And I'm so excited to be back recording with my friend Matt Stein.
Yay! Sorry.
All right, so here we go. We're recording the audio. All right, so I'll just dive right in. All right, so Matt, are you familiar with the Pokemon Go?
Yeah, there's a Pokestop and a gym a block from our house.
Okay, so we have a bunch of Pokestops right by where we live, and we're really into Pokemon Go.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm not a video game person or even like a mobile game person at all. But I'm really into this because it has game mechanics involving real world stuff. I see the benefits of it. Getting out, getting exercise, meeting new people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you have?
There's a lot of downsides to it too, like people getting robbed in St. Louis and all that shit.
But you don't. Okay, I see more positives than negatives.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Okay, those stories stand out because they're so crazy and they're negative. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, businesses are making money off this thing. People are getting together. There's relationships being formed.
Yeah, we went to. Sorry to cut you off, but last night we were in. My buddy from Minneapolis was in town. We went to a concert in Milwaukee, and we go to a restaurant called AJ Bombers afterwards every time. And they had a big sign up front. Then AJ Bombers is a gym, and there was like, "Hey, this is who has our gym now. So come and take it over." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I've seen a lot of stuff on Reddit where people are like, because you can put down a lure at a stop and bring people there, and a bunch of people meet up. And I agree. There's a lot of good, and my outdoor running has gone through the roof because now I have a reason to run outside, and I hate running. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but have you wondered why all of a sudden this game is just hot, the hottest thing ever? What caused it to all of a sudden come out of nowhere and everybody's playing it?
Well, I'm curious what you think because I have my idea.
Okay, but since this is Weird World Weekly, so what I think is going to be a crazy theory,
and that's why I'm waiting for.
Not necessarily what I think; it's what some people think. Okay, here are 3 conspiracy theories as to why Pokemon Go is a thing. It's so popular right now. Okay, here's the first one. The U.S. government is using Pokemon Go as a surveillance tactic.
I believe it.
Do you honestly believe that?
I've heard and read some stuff about the fact because your GPS location is on at all times, and if you catch Pokemon using the augmented reality versus just the dummy background, your camera's on.
Yeah.
So you're uploading video of the insides of buildings and the insides of houses and stuff.
But don't you think the government will get like stuff that they don't need? Like it's just a bunch of video and a bunch of geolocation information. I don't necessarily think that there's any useful information out of that, right?
Well, since we're going to take things a step further, you could go and assume that because there's a lot of kids were getting in trouble for going into police stations.
Oh yeah.
Military bases. So what if Pokemon Go is really developed by an enemy of the United States and they are selling the floor plans and the location information for police stations and military bases to terrorists?
Yeah. See, I believe that theory more than I believe this theory that the U.S. government's using the information. I believe that if foreign hands got a hold of this stuff, that they definitely could use it to their advantage against us.
Yeah. But you could say that the U.S. government's just doing it to keep tabs on people.
That's true.
You know?
That's the most. That's the tinfoil hat edition of the theory. All right. So next conspiracy theory as to why Pokemon Go is this worldwide phenomenon. It was released to get people away from the news. Because let's be honest, there's been some pretty crappy news this summer, right? There's been a lot just crappy crappy news.
And I believe this because I know that this game was something that had been talked about for a very long time. And they released it out of the blue, and they released a very, very broken version of the game. And I feel like something with the amount of hype that it had, they really should have taken the time to polish the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with most games that involve servers, the general initial interest in it is always overwhelming, and the servers crash. So that part didn't surprise me. But the fact that like the game itself was just broken was a surprise.
And one could argue that they decided to release it and use real people as beta testers.
That's
they're just
possible.
like, F it. We'll just we'll iron out all the details as we go.
Possible. That's something that they do a lot. To just let regular users beta test it because it's cheaper.
What I do have to admit, though, is I've been paying less attention to the news and other things in my life since starting to play Pokemon Go.
So you are living proof that this is
yes
the potential.
It's not a theory anymore; it's fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have one more conspiracy theory as to why Pokemon Go blew up out of nowhere. The U.S. government is working with Japan to make Americans lose weight. Out of all these three, I believe that one the most because people are getting off their asses and actually moving around, expending calories, getting in shape.
Yeah, but the thing is we live between two churches. Both churches are gyms. I would say the first week this game was out, we saw a lot of people, and that quickly declined. And it's still very nice out here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when winter comes, that's done. That will stop.
Yeah.
So, I think that this one does make sense because of the timing. It's in the middle of summer that they released it. But I feel like they would need to release more features on the game to keep people interested in staying outside.
And they definitely are planning on doing that.
Yes, planning on doing that as opposed to actually doing it.
I believe before winter hits, right before people are stuck inside, they're going to release some new thing that will.
I saw they were releasing something about like you could challenge other trainers.
Mm-hmm.
As right now you're alone in the game, but now you'll see other people. But we should save that for our Pokemon Go podcast.
Okay, which we should have been on. We should have made a Pokemon Go podcast a couple weeks ago because
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah. All right. So we would love to hear your thoughts on this. What's your conspiracy theory as to why Pokemon Go just blew up out of nowhere? You can email weird@gncast.com or call our voicemail number 805-328-3966. All right. So let's get into your story. Mm-hmm. So just launch into it, Matt.
Okay. My story this week, Jean-Claude Juncker, I don't know, it's a French name. He believes that aliens are worried about Brexit. He's claiming that he heard from leaders of other planets. It's a conspiracy theory, but it also involves aliens, so I thought Dave would really like this one.
I do.
But apparently...
Anytime aliens are involved, I'm on board. Hit me.
I've been trying to find more alien ones, but I always stumble upon conspiracies because they're the easiest to find.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks something is a conspiracy. But Mr. Juncker claims that he, quote unquote, heard from leaders of other planets during a European commission. The president of the commission had been speaking in front of the EU when he made the slip. Alien hunters jumped on the speech, claiming that it proves that world leaders are in touch with aliens from other planets. There's a video of him speaking in French, telling those gathered, quote, "You need to know that those who observe us from afar are worried."
Okay, I have to interject real quick.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask how your thoughts on this.
You could interpret that to mean anybody, not necessarily aliens. It could be people across like the Atlantic in
Mhm.
in the U.S.
Yep.
What do we think of it?
He went on to say, "I have seen, listened, and heard many leaders of other planets, and they are very worried because they wonder about the course the EU will follow."
Oh, okay. There's the other shoe that dropped.
Yeah. He also, the last thing he said was, "So we have to reassure both the Europeans and those who observe us from afar." Um, People are claiming that he kind of just misspoke. People are saying kind of what you said, where people from afar could have just been people in different countries. So with everything, there's two sides. Some people are saying he mixed up words. The reason being that he makes the words they're saying is because he speaks multiple languages and just maybe made a mistake.
Okay.
Now, I think it's way cooler that either he's completely lost his mind and thinks that aliens are talking to him and saying that the Brexit was a bad thing, or the reality is maybe he just mixed up some languages.
Okay, number one, aliens do exist. You should listen to our Alien Invasion podcast on the Galactic Netcast Network, and you will believe too. What I was also going to say is maybe he believes in aliens, not necessarily knows that they're out there or has contact with them, but just using it as an example to say, look, we're acting stupid by doing this. Even
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to look bad, to the aliens in case they come and want to, meet us and all that jazz.
So what you're saying is you agree with him?
Yes, I do agree with him.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's basically the end of the story. So there's alien conspiracy theorists think that there's a potential that the the president of the commission is in touch with alien life forms.
Okay. So there's a YouTube video that you can watch this.
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but there is a video of him.
I love the line at the end of the story. Try speaking other four languages without making a mistake.
Well, that's very true. There's a bunch of videos. Apparently, he gets drunk and slaps someone at one point.
Really?
That's on YouTube.
Oh my god.
You might have to sift through his YouTube videos to find the specific one. But it says that a video published by Secure Team 10.
Oh, those
so
guys.
It sounds, yeah, it doesn't sound like it's like a televised thing.
Well, Secure Team 10 is responsible for publishing on YouTube a lot of alien content.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whenever the aliens are involved or people think aliens are involved, they will publish a video about it. So
nice.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Again, feedback. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. 805-328-3966. Email weird@gncasts.com or jump onto our website, gncasts.com/weird, and leave a comment in the comment section. All right. And random weird fact. All right. So, Matt, are you ready for a random weird fact?
Yes, I am.
This may deter you from going out into the wild. I'm just going to put that up front. Are you sure you want to hear this random weird fact?
Yeah, I'm not much for going out in the wild anyways, so...
Yeah, you're not really an adventurer, are you?
You're into the woods.
Outdoorsman.
No.
Okay, so there's a snake called the boom slang, whose venom causes you to bleed out of every orifice of your body. You may even turn blue from internal bleeding, and it can take you up to 5 days to die from the bleeding.
Awesome. Where does this snake live?
I have no idea. We should probably look that up, because it could be anywhere.
Yeah. Boom slang. Let's see. Venomous. It's venomous.
Okay,
sure. It's derived from a Dutch name. Why can't you just tell me where?
Would be habitat, right? Where's the habitat of the
Yeah.
snake? I'm
Oh,
guessing.
sub-Saharan Africa.
Say again.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay. All right. So
we're good.
when you're planning your trips, avoid sub-Saharan Africa and you'll be fine. You won't be bleeding out of every orifice of your body and turning blue from internal bleeding.
Wow.
All right, so that's that would be episode number 68. Let me save that bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
Save project. See how easy this is, man?
I know.
What the hell were we thinking? Why weren't we doing this in the first place?
Because you always overcomplicate before you simplify.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
I don't know. It made sense in my head.
Yeah, sounds great. That should be a motto or on a poster. Motivational poster in your office. Behind your desk. All right. Sweet. All right.
I don't know.
We are ready for. And I was thinking before, when I was getting my stuff together yesterday, I was thinking that we should have like a zinger for that random weird fact, like a joke to go out on. So maybe we can think of one here. What's the next one? A man received the heart of a suicide victim, married his widow, and years later killed himself on the same day the donor did.
Sorry, Skype just opened itself on my computer.
Weird. Microsoft is watching you.
I hate Skype so much. Sorry, I missed what the man received. Oh, this sounded really cool to me.
Okay. You have like a zinger that you could put put it like a big exclamation point at the end of that with some kind of zinger.
I'm trying to think of a heart joke.
Like
it appears he didn't have the heart to handle it. No, I mean that's like a bad dad joke.
We'll see what happens. Well, we won't really plan it. If it happens, it happens. All right, you ready for episode number 69?
Yep, I will try my hardest not to go 69.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say something.
I got it out of the way now. We're good.
Matthew, have you heard of an org? I mean, hang on. Let me start over again.
Like a .org?
That would bring a whole new meaning to topple of a domain if it was
right.
.ogre. All right. Matt, have you heard of an ogre?
Yeah, I have actually.
Okay, in your mind, describe of what you know of an ogre, describe it for me.
Large, green, carries a bat.
A bat?
More of a club, but a bat.
He plays baseball?
He does.
He does. Okay.
Leading home run hitter in the league.
What we're going to do is, on previous episodes, we've talked about creatures that have appeared in mythology and stories throughout history. I think we've talked about ghouls before, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to think. We've covered a couple, so
yeah.
But ghouls rings a bell.
This one, I think ghouls was the last one. This time we're going to talk about the ogre. And you're basically right. It's a large and hideous humanoid monster, a mythical creature often found in fairy tales and folklore. While commonly depicted as an unintelligent and clumsy enemy, it is dangerous and that it feeds on human victims. The idea of the ogre has been used as a method of instilling good behavior in children by suggesting that bad behavior attracted and excited ogres who would then attack, kidnap, or even eat the perpetrator. Some authors, however, chose to show ogres in a somewhat brighter light, like what was the Eddie Murphy? Eddie Murphy played the donkey, and Shrek. He was an ogre, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think at least I might be wrong.
There's
some an ogre.
There's some very interesting history as to maybe why this creature came to be, and it's actually based on real facts of history. or prehistory, actually. The word ogre quite possibly derives from the Latin orcus, Roman god of the underworld. And the idea of this type of mythical creature gained popularity with its use in the 1696 publication of Tales of Mother Goose, which laid foundations for a new literary genre, the fairy tale, and whose best known tales include Puss in Boots, which feature ogres. Now, here's the real factual stuff behind this. And I thought this is very interesting. Some scientists have suggested that trolls and ogres are a distant memory of an encounter with Neanderthals by Homo sapiens, Cro-Magnon ancestors some 40,000 years ago during their migration into Northern Europe. That's one theory. Another explanation, this is the one I think is the most legitimate, is that ogres represent the remains of a Scandinavian forefather cult, which existed until the introduction of Christianity in the 10th and 11th centuries. In this cult, the forefathers' remains were worshipped in burial grounds near the family farm, and whose spirit continued to live on. Now, what happens on family farms when you have these big families? There's kids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're running around, they're playing. What would happen if they started playing? Okay, think of a graveyard or a cemetery. Kids running around the cemetery playing. What usually happens if there's adults around? What do they say what do they usually tell the kids?
Stop fooling around? Stop messing around?
Now, what would be a good way to get these kids to stop fooling around and playing around?
In a cemetery?
Yeah.
Tell them that some sort of something or other's going to get them?
Yes. Bingo.
See where you're going.
Now, they think that these forefather cults used the spirit, because they say the spirits of the dead lived on in these like burial mounds. So they kind of passed this belief on to their kids, and they used that in a way to stop them from playing around in this sacred area. And that's possibly how the ogre came into existence.
I can see that.
That's really interesting, I thought. And one more thing, according to the folklore and mythology of peoples of Northern Europe, ogres live in the far corners of forests and mountains, sometimes even in castles. They are almost always incredibly large and stupid, being easily outwitted by humans. They are not always malicious, while there are stories of ogres that kidnap and eat children. See, that's where the whole thing comes from, is the kidnapping and eating children. That's the best way to get your kids to behave. You better behave. An ogre's coming. He might come and eat you.
I hear they're hungry.
Yeah, they got to be hungry. They're big, right?
Yep, they eat a lot. A lot of children.
All right, we'll end it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to end with the feedback, because we have a separate section for that. It sounds better when we just kind of end it with somebody saying something kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to your story, and you can jump in and start whenever you want, Matt.
Dave, have you ever had a teddy bear as a child? Maybe you're an adult. Maybe you still have a teddy bear. I do
not have my teddy bear from my childhood, but I do have fond memories of said teddy bear.
Okay, so you slept with said teddy bear?
Yes.
Okay, that's normal. That's not where we're going with that. But there was a video that surfaced of a possessed teddy bear that is seen sitting up and laying on top of a child. So I actually hunted down the video. I found the video. Not as scary as they make it out to be, but what it is it's like night vision in kind of the paranormal activity sense. So it's like a camera pointed at a kid while it's sleeping. It's all like green and night lit or whatever, but the bear's laying next to her, and you just kind of see it roll over on top of her. Now, a lot of people are saying it's fake. I also think it's fake because it looked very much like the bear was on its back and the child was to its right. So if there was a string on like the bear's left hand, and you just kind of pull it over, it looked like it kind of just rolled naturally over.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you just see the kid sit up and like move the teddy bear and then go back to sleep.
Okay.
Now, the way that it's described, which made it sound much scarier, is that the bear like sat upright and then like turned and looked and then laid on top. But nonetheless, I think it would be kind of cool if this was a real video of like
Yeah.
a possessed item, or there's actually a TV show where they hunt down like possessed items, and
Really?
yeah, I just saw a commercial for it.
That's interesting because in a future episode of Weird World Weekly, we're going to be talking about a possessed, not necessarily a possessed item, but an item that's cursed, which is very similar.
Yeah, it's a TV show called Deadly Possessions.
Okay. Do you know who hosts it?
I'm looking right now. It's also apparently a museum.
I think it's the same people that have the thing that we're going to talk about. It sounds very similar.
It might be. It sounds like the museum is in downtown Las Vegas, and it's run by Zach Bagans, who was on Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
Oh
no, I think it's different.
Spiky hair and yelled at ghosts.
Yeah, that's different than the people that I'm thinking of.
The first show, it's on the Travel Channel. Just came out in April. Let me see. It's the same guy, Zach Bagans.
Okay. Interesting. No, that would be. I think that's a good topic, good setup for some kind of movie, don't you think? And not like a Chucky movie.
Well, they say the movie Annabelle and the first Conjuring, I think it was, are based on a possessed doll that people come into possession of.
Okay.
Second, I'm trying to think. I recently saw the second Conjuring, but I don't recall if it was about an item so much as just a demon. But they say that a lot of times spirits and stuff get into items, and it's an item that you buy or something, and that's how you start being haunted. It's not like your house is haunted kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I think one of the ghost shows a few years ago, they did the Titanic exhibit at some museum, and it wasn't the museum that was haunted. It was the Titanic items, the items from the Titanic that were haunted, which makes sense.
Yeah. It's a cool concept.
Okay, but you know what, children, and if children are listening, or parents of children, you might want to either lock up your teddy bears,
strap them down,
secure them in some way in case this is a real thing. Perfect. All right. I'm glad we both decided to end right there. All right. Here's the random weird fact. All right. Here is our random weird fact of the episode. Okay. Are you ready for this, Matt?
I am.
Okay. So a man received the heart of a suicide victim. Next thing that happened is he married his widow. That's weird, right? That's weird enough.
Well, I guess it depends on if these people knew each other or not. That's not mentioned, so
I don't think they did.
It appears that they did not, but yeah, I agree.
Okay, and the last thing that happened, years later, he killed himself on the very same day the donor did.
Oof. Tough break. My heart goes out to them.
Poor choice of words.
I think it was a great choice of words, Dave.
All right. I think that's good enough. That's good enough for that. All right.
Was that a good enough zinger for you?
Yes.
Expected you to like it a little more.
No, it was good. No, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Sometimes I just don't express my...
Well, that's the thing. Like, I get the whole, like, recording that, like, so I wasn't sure.
No, I was cracking up inside.
I'm glad.
Rolling on the floor. ROFL.
Rafflecopter?
Raffle. What are you going to say?
Did you ever watch the show The League? This is completely off topic.
I've seen it before, probably early on, like maybe first season, but I haven't seen it since.
Are you familiar with who Taco is in that show?
No.
Oh, he plays like the weird stoner brother. Taco's hilarious, but Taco now plays like folk music, and it's actually really good. It's called Wolfie's Just Fine.
Huh.
Feel free to check it out.
Okay, I will. All right, I'm gonna just check my emails real quick.
Yeah,
We're
no problem.
moving through this a lot faster than I anticipated.
Well, when all we do is cover the stories, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna download that Deadly Possession show.
No, I'd love to. That's actually something that I would totally be into watching.
You can watch them off my computer if you want.
No, it's okay.
Okay, fine, Dave.
No, I'm good. No, that would take planning, and right now, life is definitely in flux. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of moving parts right now. We have we're watching a lot of the Democratic National Convention, and then we have stuff on our DVR that we still have to get to. And
I got a lot of shit we gotta watch.
yeah,
I'm trying to. So I want to get rid of cable, which right now my cable is so cheap that like it doesn't even pay to get rid of it. So right now we have like 300 channels, including Showtime and Epix, and I have 35 by 5 internet and a home phone, and it's $90 a month.
okay, say it again. Say that whole thing again.
Yeah. So I want to get rid of cable.
Yes.
But our cable and internet together is so cheap it doesn't pay.
Yeah,
to get rid of.
That's a great price.
Yeah. So it's $90 for Showtime and Epix and 300 channels, and then our internet is 35 by 5 and a home phone. I don't even have the home phone modem plugged in. But yeah, so because I was looking at PlayStation View, their TV, it's similar to Sling.
Yes, I'm familiar with Sling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just PlayStation's version. So they have like the 3 different tiers, and the top tiers has like 100 channels or something. But
interesting. That's a great price. You're getting a great deal because we pay like I want to say $175.
Yeah, there's a guy I work with had like the same TV as us and the same internet, but was outside of the deal, and he said he was paying like $230 a month.
Yeah.
So he went to PlayStation View, which they're going to be getting NFL Red Zone, and the NFL Network, which is a big thing for us.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
And he just pays for like the local channels from Time Warner for like $10 a month.
Okay.
So I think that's what we might end up doing. And now that I have this sweet PVR setup, I don't really need.
What PVR setup do you have?
Using switch to a thing called Sonar.
Okay.
You put it in a TV show, and then you just click the episodes you want, and then it downloads. They're called NZB files, and then you use this program called SAB NZB that downloads them through a Usenet account.
Okay.
So then you can't really get tracked.
Oh.
And then SAB unpacks the NZB into a video file, and then puts the file into a folder for my Plex server. So Plex is just software that runs on my computer. That's what I was saying. Yeah. You can just run Plex on your web browser or a Roku box, and you can watch anything on my computer. So then I have an app on our TV. So I just stream Plex in the living room.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of movies that we do for pot that Corey doesn't have.
I was wondering if that's how you guys did it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had this set up before Corey. This just happened to be really easy for us to do.
By the way, we have a viewer. So
hi, viewer.
I kind of forgot that we were live on YouTube.
I didn't. I just,
Okay. By the way, for people watching, we should, since we're halfway through point, remind everybody once again that we're recording pieces of future episodes of our podcast, Weird World Weekly. And if you want to know more, you can go to GN Casts. That's casts.com/weird. And you can find more of the audio episodes there, or just go through our playlist here on YouTube, and you can watch the episodes as well. But we record a bunch together at the same time, then we kind of release them separately. That's how it works.
What Dave said.
And that's my model for the new Galactic Radio show.
What?
That's going to replace Sci-Fi Geeks Club. That's kind of the model.
Oh,
This is
okay.
kind of a test, not a test, but it's a good template to start with how we're going to do that show. So there's that. All right, here we go. Let's record episode number 70. Here we go. I'm recording, and here we go. Can I say here we go one more time? Here we go. All right, so there is this thing called black-eyed children. Does that freak you out a little bit, Matt?
Children in general are terrifying. Let me rephrase that, because it's common knowledge that my wife and I do not want children. People seem to mistake that as that we hate children. That's not it at all. I think children in a horror sense are absolutely terrifying. Children of the Corn, scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, anytime children aren't doing something they're supposed to be doing is a little bit weird. Tack on a like horror element or a paranormal element, and it's even weirder and even freakier. Which I think this pretty much is in that category. It's black-eyed children, and we're going to talk about some encounters with the said black-eyed children. And have you ever, let's back up a little bit, have you ever heard of black-eyed children?
No, I haven't, actually.
Okay.
So I'm really interested in what you're about to say.
Perhaps one of the first urban legends of the internet. Stories and claims of encounters with black-eyed children can be traced back to a report of an incident in 1996. Brian Bethel claimed he was sitting in his car when he looked out to see two young boys who asked him for a ride to a local movie theater. He might have agreed had he not noticed that their eyes were deep black stones staring back at him. He sped off as fast as he could, and since his account, numerous claims of sightings have flooded the World Wide Web. Pretty freaky, eh?
I gotta look up pictures.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I will read the first. We have two stories of encounters with black-eyed children. And the first one comes to us from, I'm not sure where, or when, but here's how it goes. One of Jim Still's daily pleasures was to step outside of his house and enjoy a cigar. Eventually, he began to notice a strange young boy walking along the street awkwardly every night. For reasons he couldn't explain, Stills felt more and more uneasy and eventually gave up his nightly routine and stayed indoors instead. Okay. Are you curious? Should I continue?
Yeah, please do.
Did you find any pictures, by the way?
I mean, it's just pictures of children where their eyes are. It looks like they're wearing just like full black contacts.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. The pictures that I've seen as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so time passed, and Jim eventually forgot about the strange sightings. That changed, however, one evening when he stepped outside to have a cigarette and stopped dead as he saw the boy standing directly in front of him. Directly in front of him, Matt.
I would have pooped my shorts.
Yeah. He stared at him with eyes that were completely black and lacked any type of emotion. The boy asked Stills to let him inside his home. The demand prompted Stills to rush back into the house. He began to keep a nightly watch for the strange boy, and although he didn't see him again, he apparently never again dared to venture out from his home after dark, and would be a great way to quit smoking.
Yeah, right? Although smoking a cigar, it's not like he was, smoking cigarettes or anything.
But no, the second time, or where the story picks up, he's smoking a cigarette. At first, he's smoking a cigar, and he moved on to cigarettes. I don't know what that means. Maybe he does both.
Escalated quickly.
Or he got the initial incident, or the initial incidents caused him to switch from cigars to cigarettes.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number one, and we'll put the link to the where I got these, and there's a number of them on that article. I just picked two of the best ones. So this one's a little bit longer. A woman who lived in Vermont claims that in the middle of a blizzard one evening, a loud knocking sounded at the front door of the house. The woman went to answer the door, but a quick look out the window revealed footprints in the snow leading to the house, but there was no sign of a vehicle on the road, so they must have been out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
She was a little unnerved, so she awoke her husband, and the banging on the door continued. He went to answer it. 2 children stood at the doorstep, a boy and a girl looking to be around 8 years old. The woman recalled that they were not dressed for the cold conditions outside and that she felt instantly unnerved by their presence, but despite that, she invited them inside. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime that, I don't know, if I were to encounter 2 children at my doorstep in the middle of winter, in the middle of nowhere, not wearing the proper clothes, I'd be a little fishy. Or I'd be a little suspicious. That would be fishy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what I would do. Like if like someone knocked on my door, it's raining out right now. So it's like if someone knocked on the door, there's just a kid in clothing, like what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let a child into my house because that could, just the status of the world right now,
Mm-hmm.
that could end poorly. Even trying to be nice could end poorly. But
Yeah.
especially a kid that ugh.
But it's an interesting moral conundrum, right? Because
Yeah,
you're not gonna let the kids just stay out there, because who knows, they might be real and they need assistance.
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Like the decent human being in me doesn't want to just let a kid sit outside, but the realist in me doesn't want to let a kid inside.
Yeah. All right. So here's the wrap up to the story. She offered to make the pair a cup of cocoa to warm them up, and recalled whatever she asked them, their reply was always the same: "Our parents will be here soon." She came into the room with the 2 cups of cocoa, and as they looked up at her to take the drinks, she noticed that their eyes were jet black balls, giant pupils. As she stared at them, they both asked if they could use the bathroom. Together in unison, "Can we use the bathroom?"
Oh, so creepy.
I don't know if that's how it went, but in my mind, that's how it went. A moment later, her husband's nose began to bleed, and then the power suddenly went out. As the woman attempted to make her way to get her husband a tissue, she noticed both children standing at the end of the hall, motionless and staring at her. They suddenly broke silence and said, "Our parents are here." Before opening the front door and making their way back into the night, even stranger, as they went close to the door, she saw the children getting into a black car as 2 tall men, both dressed in suits, stood next to it. They too entered the vehicle and drove away. So, what could they be? What could they be, Matt?
CIA experiments?
That got loose, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the entire thing was a figment of their imagination.
Or it could be a spirit. It's all paranormal, possibly.
Wow, that's insane. Pure insanity.
Yeah. So be careful when somebody knocks on your door in the middle of winter and they're children that aren't dressed for the weather and have big black eyes. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into your story. So, Matt, go right ahead.
A follow-up, kind of, not really a follow-up, an extension maybe of something we talked about a few weeks ago. There was a episode of Pokémon, the cartoon that came out in 1997, that is believed to have been weaponized by the U.S. Army.
Really?
Yes, and in the story, in the story is actually the video of what happened. Like, okay, so there's a portion of the episode that basically caused roughly 700 children to have seizures and need to be rushed to the hospital. It's a point where Pikachu uses an electric attack or lightning powers or something. The episode is called Electric Soldier Porygon. I don't know if I said that right, so I'm sorry if I offended any Pokemon. Um, but Pikachu uses his lightning powers to blow up missiles. The flashing pulses within the scene cause the children to experience unusual seizures. As a result, the episode was banned from airing, even in an edited form. The effects of the episode were so damning, the entire show was removed from the air for 4 months.
Wow.
In the story is actually the clip, and I watched it, and I was a little hesitant to watch it because I have no history of seizures. But I'm like, here, my friend's in town, or was in town at the time, and I'm like, here, I'm going to watch this and have a freaking seizure on my couch watching Pokemon. I'm good though, but I could totally see, like, it wasn't just like flashing that could cause epileptic seizure. Like, it was intense. It was intense.
Given the right conditions and the right looking at it from the right angle, possibly, and being susceptible to seizures that might trigger it.
Yeah, if I was watching it on a TV, a full-size TV versus like a video window on my laptop, I could see something bad happening. But according to the Army's findings, the application of electromagnetic pulses could force neurons to fire at once, causing a disruption of voluntary muscle control or a seizure. So there's thought that it's possible that it was a test to make a seizure weapon.
But why would you use a children's program to test it? You know, like, these children are innocent.
You know, maybe it wasn't so much geared at children as it was just the sheer quantity of people that would be watching it.
Okay.
You know, in the late '90s, Pokemon was incredibly popular. It's still popular, but it was I believe it was more so popular then.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
So none of the children died, I take it. They just
no. They just had unexplained seizures, went to the hospital, and it sounds like that was it. But yeah, there's a description of the quote unquote ominous seizure weapon in the declassified files that were released after this whole shabazz was over.
You know, I wonder if they could actually make a bigger scale version of that, like for the battlefield. To, like, if say the enemy are like whatever distance in front, right? Put up a big screen, and you make that crazy light appear.
Think of the size of LED screens at football stadiums. You know what I mean? The technology to build something that large and that high resolution exists. So why not build some sort of plane, you know, 2 planes that carry this big screen and just fly into a war zone and cause the enemy to have seizures?
And to start going looking for Pokemon to catch. Yeah.
I hear Charizard is in Iran these days. I actually have no idea.
What did you say?
I said I hear Charizard is in Iran these days.
Oh, okay. I still don't get it.
Charizard's a Pokemon?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh. You said you played Pokemon Go. I figured.
I don't know everything though. I don't know all the Pokemon. Sorry.
A really good friend of mine is 27. So like Pokemon is his age group. So I hear about it all the time. He'll tell me all the Pokemon he finds. I make fun of him.
All right, so that's going to be that zinger that you did. That's going to be the end of that story. We'll pretend that I knew what you were talking about.
No, that's fine. I didn't know you didn't know. Otherwise, I would have explained it better.
Okay. All right. So here is your random weird fact of the week. Random weird fact of the week. If you're looking at a Victorian photo and one of the subjects in the photo is clearer than the rest, they're probably dead.
Are you sure that they're not? It's just maybe that their alabaster skin photographs better.
Yeah, no. I know why this is. Because back in the day, back in the 1800s, they had to sit perfectly still for a very long time for that photo to be developed. And what sits still very well, better than anybody else?
Something that's dead.
Yes. I would love to, on this show, talk about sometime the weird trend back in the Victorian era, I believe, 1800s, maybe early 1900s, of people taking pictures of dead people. Like it was a weird thing for a while. Like,
Are you sure it's not still a weird thing?
yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, so we'll call that good right there. All right. So that was 70. Save project as bum, 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 bum. Where is it? I'm always worried that whenever I'm talking to you or talking to anybody while I'm doing something like this, I'm going to mess up because I don't do two things at once very well.
Oh, you're fine. Another side track question, but did you watch the latest season of Gotham?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Okay, because I have like 9 episodes left, and I just haven't had the motivation to watch them, and I'm not sure if I want to keep trying.
No, it's good. I like the show because it's just so nuts. It's like over the top. Like they kill people in weird ways. People get their arms cut off. It's and it's very cartoony. That's why I like it.
I will watch it. I will continue to watch it then, based on your recommendation alone.
I'm very impressed that you were actually watching it in the first place.
Yeah, I got up halfway through, like the first episode of the Wrath of the Villains half of season 2, and then I just haven't really had a ton of time. I shouldn't say that. I've had plenty of time. Everything else gets in the way. Corey got us watching Outcast, and I want to start watching Preacher, and I'm trying to watch Twin Peaks, and
oh, you're gonna watch get ready for the new season of Twin Peaks?
Yeah, I want to watch the original before the new ones come out.
Yeah, it's good. I watched it back in the day when it was on.
Have you watched Stranger Things yet?
No.
I hear that's very good, but that's on my list.
That's on our list too.
I'm also trying to watch True Detective.
Never watched any of those.
We watched the first episode and it seemed pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have like pay cable. Like we don't have like the HBO or the Showtimes. So
once again, it's just my PVR.
I know.
So because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't watch any of these.
All right. Here we go. Final episode number 71. So here we go. All right. So we mentioned this briefly on a previous episode of a museum that has how did you say it? How did you describe it?
It sounds redundant, but possessed possessions.
Yeah, possessed possessions, and it's actually a TV show too.
Yeah, it's a TV show called Deadly Possessions.
Okay, so this is kind of along the same lines. It's called The Idol of Nightmares. Now, that's scary enough as it is, just the name, The Idol of Nightmares. The object, which is currently in the possession of Greg Newkirk and Dana Matthews, creators of the site Planet Weird, which I haven't gone to that website, but I'm going to before the next episode of Weird World Weekly. It makes sense because it has weird in the title too.
And Planet.
It reportedly has the ability to induce horrific dreams and hallucinations to anyone who touches it. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds terrifying.
Yeah. So it's this idol, you touch it, and you have horrific dreams. That doesn't sound like fun at all. The pair received the stone figure from a listener after they made a guest appearance on the popular paranormal themed talk show Coast to Coast AM, which I loved Coast to Coast AM back in the day. I don't like it now. Number one, because the original host, Art Bell, is no longer with the show. And number two, it's gotten kind of political, which I don't like.
I don't think I ever watched it.
Or no, it's a radio show. You have to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The words didn't come out of my mouth. I knew it was a radio show.
Happens to me all the time.
You'd think the amount of time we spent talking on the internet that we would be better at talking.
Yeah, no, that's not the case at all. Okay, so the idol is carved from heavy wood and stained black, with inset eyes of ivory and a triangular symbol set into its forehead. Experts suggest it could be from an African ceremony, or it could be an African ceremonial effigy. Its true origin remains unknown, though one historian told them the wrapping and burial of such an object is known in some cultures to be means of casting a curse. The man who gave them the statue said that numerous terrifying events had transpired after his discovery of the figure, including a series of intense nightmares. His young son believed a quote-unquote little man was attacking him at night, while the father claimed to have dreams of murdering his wife. Returning the object to the crawl space didn't stop the nightmares, however. It only made them more vivid and disturbing. So he touched the idol, had the nightmares, put the idol in the crawl space, and apparently the idol got pissed off and intensified the dreams or nightmares.
Have you looked at pictures of this thing at all?
Yes, I have in the article. Let me continue, and then we'll discuss that.
Yep.
In a later interview with Coast to Coast, Newkirk said that the idol is now one of the scariest objects that we've added to the museum. The curators also claim that many strange events have plagued them since acquiring it, particularly lucid nightmares about a tiny shadow man who seemed to be wearing the same burlap sack the idol was wrapped in. Even more chilling is the pair's claim that some visitors to the museum and even readers of the Planet Weird website have reported experiencing frightening dreams about the tiny man after merely looking at the image of the statue.
Oh, damn it, Dave.
I looked at the image and then read that part of the article, and that was
same here.
Same reaction. So if you okay, so I didn't have any weird dreams last night. I didn't have lucid dreams of this weird man in the burlap sack or whatever. So I think you're safe. Although, it may affect different people differently.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Stay tuned to Weird World Weekly, and you may we may have a report to the contrary later on.
Yeah.
So do you believe this? Do you believe that something like this could happen?
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that items could be possessed or haunted versus like a building. Let me rephrase that. Even if your house is haunted, it's still an item that's haunted. The house being the item versus a statue. Yes. So I do believe that there's a very real possibility that there's some sort of demonic presence or demonic something or other that could just be living in this statue. Now, I wish that there was more backstory on it, like concrete backstory, and maybe you can figure out why it creates nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I believe it.
I was thinking that, and this is like, I don't know what the realm of possibility of this being a thing, but I was thinking that maybe the statue is coated with some kind of chemical or plant extract that would cause hallucinations.
That's possible.
But that doesn't explain just looking at it and still having the same reaction.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like some sort of hallucinogen. I mean, other than like LSD, but
I'm sure there's many things in nature that might cause that type of reaction.
Yeah.
All right. So beware. Look at the image at your own risk.
I mean, look at it just so you make sure you don't buy it. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. So final story. Jump into it.
I know I've done a lot of conspiracy lately, and maybe it's because I don't believe anything or I believe everything. But now, Dave, what would you say if I pointed out to you that there was multiple CIA agent accounts of admitting involvement in various things that we've talked about, like JFK's assassination or Marilyn Monroe's murder or UFO information? I like how serious he got about it. But these things apparently exist. I stumbled upon it when I was looking for stories of JFK's a CIA agent on his deathbed basically put out a video of him recounting his involvement with the assassination of JFK. From there, I found out that there was another one of a different CIA agent talking about the murder of Marilyn Monroe. From there, I found out there was another one about UFO information and all this stuff. So my question is, do you think that these are true, or do you think that these are all men who are off their rockers? Now, I know you believe in aliens, and I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't stick with that. I'm just saying, I think it's weird that not only are there multiple videos about multiple conspiracies of CIA agents admitting involvement, but the fact that if these are true and the CIA left them out there, like I feel like this is something the NSA would have cleared up. So that's why I tend to lead towards the fact that these guys are just old. I mean, they're all clearly dying when they're
or the CIA just thinks that people will just think that they are just off their rocker like you.
Yep.
And
that was something else that I thought of. And it's like, how often are you really going to believe someone who's on their deathbed talking? You know what I mean? My grandpa that recently passed away was seeing people before he died. No history of any sort of psychosis, and like 3 days before he died, he said he was seeing people in his room. So someone on their deathbed could just be like, "Oh man, I was in the CIA and I assassinated JFK."
But you know what? The whole seeing things 2 days before they died, that makes me wonder. Like especially having no history of hallucinations in the past. Then all of a sudden, 2 days before they die, they start seeing things. I'm like, is that like, are they seeing beings from the other side, or angels, if you want to believe in that? Maybe dying is the ultimate, like, kind of clearing the decks. Like, that is the time that you're supposed to have the truth revealed to you, right?
That's possible.
Or reveal the truth. Maybe you're inclined to reveal the truth that, deathbed confessions. There's a reason why there are such thing as deathbed confessions.
And I kind of agree with what you're saying. Now that we're talking about it, like maybe the period leading up to your death, where it's like this is your transition period, where you're half alive, half dead. And when you're half dead, you start seeing things, and things become realizations to you. So are you saying that maybe these CIA agents weren't involved, but the truth was shown to them and they claim involvement?
No, I think they were involved.
You think? Okay. And I mean, I kind of believe it too. Like a lot of things that happen. Now they're saying, and I have not done a lot of JFK assassination research, but they're saying that who was it, Lyndon B. Johnson that took over?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're saying that Lyndon B. Johnson was very pushy to become the president.
Okay.
And he wanted very badly to become the president, and then all of a sudden JFK was assassinated. So they're saying LBJ had a lot to do with the assassination. I didn't watch the videos because something about watching old men ramble didn't sound that appealing. But and not only that, but say with Marilyn Monroe, and the fact that she was just sleeping with JFK.
Yeah, there's that connection. So maybe there's more to these people's lives that we don't know, and that's the reason why they were assassinated. Like they needed to be gotten
silenced. Yeah, and the UFO one is obviously a little. It's not connected to the JFK or the Marilyn Monroe one at all. But I know that the existence of UFOs and alien research and alien existence is something that you have talked about on other podcasts as well as this one.
We have a whole podcast devoted to it.
Yeah, so I think that that's also interesting because you're always led to believe that aliens don't exist and that no, Area 51 is not a thing and aliens never crashed and we have no contact. But here's a CIA agent, retired one. This guy's it's not even a deathbed confession. This is just a retired CIA agent saying, yeah, this totally happened and this is how and why.
Well, to quote one Agent Mulder, I want to believe.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the truth is out there. I don't watch the X-Files though, so I don't even know.
Well, the truth is also out there. We have to find it. Maybe they know it, and now we do. as well. All righty, let's do the final random fact, and then we're going to be out of here. I'm going to be done. All right. Random fact time. Matt, are you ready?
Yes.
Patients with the Charles Bonnet syndrome may see small people and animals, bright moving shapes, or distorted and scary faces. Many people call this syndrome a portal to a parallel reality. Dun, 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 dun. Why? I don't know why I'm doing the Jaws. I think I was trying to do the Twilight Zone. No, that's not even it.
I don't
Never
even
mind.
know. What is the Twilight Zone?
I don't know. I forget. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do this again. Let's do this. Let's do this one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your random weird fact of the week, Matt. Are you ready?
Yes, very.
Patients with the Charles Bonnet syndrome. You ever heard of the Charles Bonnet syndrome?
I know. I actually have not.
Okay, I didn't either until I found this information. Anyways, patients with the Charles Bonnet syndrome may see small people and animals, bright moving shapes, or distorted and scary faces. Many people call this syndrome a portal to a parallel reality. I want this syndrome.
Why? That would be terrifying.
For the first time, I actually want to be sick with something. Sign me up. All right, that's good enough. That's good enough. All right. It's funny because the first 3 out of the 4 episodes were about 14 to 15 minutes long. That second one was like, I think 11 minutes. That was the shortest one.
Oh.
So we're good to go. All right. Well,
Right,
thanks, man. This is, I'm glad that we got 4 episodes in the can. That's good.
Same here. Do you have any interest? I know Jack from Worst Episode Ever seemed really interested in coming on. I don't know if guests or anything you ever wanted to do or not.
Oh, guests on this show?
Yeah.
Let me think on that. Let me figure out how we could get guests on. Like I don't want to make an exception. Like I want to have them on the show as part of the show, integrating them into something that we already do.
Right, and that's why I was curious if you wanted me to do one with, because Corey's always asking to.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you're unable to, or if you want them, so you and Corey do one, since Corey and I have already done one, or Jack and I do one, or you and Jack, or whatever. Because I think adding a third person might get a little hectic.
Yeah. No, I like your approach. That's a good one.
Right.
I think we should go with that. Let's revisit this in a couple weeks. And maybe that'll be the next time we record. Like maybe Corey and I can record a couple, and then you can record a couple with Jack.
Yeah.
Or record one with him, or whatever.
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, since it's not time sensitive, you and Corey could do 2, Jack and I could do 2, and then you could just stagger them, and then you and I could do a couple. You and I could do 2, and then we essentially have 6 weeks worth of episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could, but the thing is you could cut the stories together however you want. So you could put 3 stories on 2 episodes, just cut them together. It's entirely up to you. I know that there was interest expressed by both of them to be on.
Okay. No, I'd love to. That'd be interesting. A new dynamic to the show, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still live on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to stop this now.